Welcome back. This episode is going to be a Guess That Grade. It feels like I haven't done a Guess That Grade in probably, not to check, but it seems like forever. Probably close to a year. I'm going to have to check to see when that last one happened. Um, Actually, technically, the last Guess That Grade was the gold label, but there was only one. This Guess That Grade has 7 books in it. Trying to put all 7 fingers up. Okay, so without further ado, let's play Guess That Grade. All right. I'm still out of practice. I don't do this enough to be proficient at it, so usually I cover up all of that. Oh, starting off hot. This is going to be first in continuity appearance of Harley Quinn. This is Batman, Harley Quinn. Now, looking at it, looks like a little nicked up. I don't think this is going to grade high. If it's over an 8.0, I'd be surprised. So, let's see how much this comic book is worth. Really nice artwork by Alex Ross, known for his very lifelike art. I'm going to say probably an 8.0. It scores an 8.5, so I'm slightly off. Again, key issue, origin and first appearance of Harley Quinn in DC Universe continuity. So that means I have both her first appearance and first in continuity appearance. Pretty good. Alright. Okay. Oh, this one is the reason I'm wearing this shirt, because it has this shirt has Carnage on it. There you go, you can see him. Now, this one I was a little bit wary of, because this one, the cover is a little weird. The cover has a weird kind of like, you might not be able to see it, but like the back cover overlaps the front part. So I don't know, it looks like a printing error, but I don't know if printing errors actually affect grades on comic books. I'm going to say it probably does, and if it does, I don't know to what extent the cover being put on slightly wrong, slightly slightly off would actually do to it. So I'd say probably, if I had to guess, I'm going to say 7.0, because I would imagine the cover does affect it. All right, here we go. This is the first appearance of Carnage, and we got that's the wrong, a 9.6. So apparently I'm wrong. I don't think the cover actually affected it a lot. So 9.6 is an incredibly good score for this. It's probably going to be one of my more valuable books. Okay, reaching into my box again. Gotta cover it. All right. So this is Batman. I can actually see it. 429. This is one of the rare prints of this book, because there's two prints of this book. One you're going to have a purple bat. One you're going to have a blue bat. The bat over the behind the name. So I got the purple bat, which I believe is the first printing. I think the second printing is a blue bat. This is going to be the death of Jason Todd. And it has the Joker on the cover, pretty nice. There's a lot of Joker stuff in here. Okay. I'm going to put it at I'm going to say an 8.0. Let's say 8.0. Okay. I guess it right on the money. That's pretty good. All right. Death in the Family, Part 4, the storyline, Superman appearance. I still think this is actually technically the death of Jason Todd as well. But it has, that has Mike Mignola's art on it, so that's the guy who drew Hellboy, did the cover. That's a pretty good cover. Okay. Going right along, we have, oh yeah, this is one I pulled from that comic book game store, where I pulled my Hellboy first comic book appearance from. This is Teen Titans. Tales of the Teen Titans number 44. This is like 3 keys in one. You got first appearance of Nightwing in his Nightwing costume. I would say first appearance of Jericho, but it's hard to tell when Jericho's first appearance is or when it was a cameo, because I think he actually appeared, but usually it's like if somebody has a speaking role, that would be their first appearance, if they show up and they're like in a couple panels. I think speaking role would be hard for Jericho because he can't talk, so... Alright, I pulled this out pretty clean. I didn't have it wasn't bagged or boarded, but I think it still looked pretty clean. So I'm going to say probably a 9. My neighbors have a dog that barks and he runs around. He's a very big dog. And I don't understand why he barks at this hour. You might not be able to hear him, but I hear him. He's rumbling around out there. Okay. So I'm going to say probably a 9.0 on this because I pulled it pretty clean. I sent a few to be pressed too, so this one might have even gotten a press. I'm going to say a 9.0. A 9.8. That's actually, aside from getting a 10, it's pretty much the best you can do. Dang. Okay, that's a clean book, especially without being bagged or boarded. If your comics are stored properly, you might not need to bag and board them, but I would always recommend bag and boarding your books. Okay, this one I think is going to be my lowest graded one. This is Marvel Tales, I believe number 1, and it's Tales spelled Tales as in animal Tales. Alright, and it's a newsstand edition. So, we got, this one is this is funny because when I bought this one, it was like I think the person just wanted to give all their Spider-Hams a good home. They sold me this one and then the first 3 or 4 Spider-Ham issues. So they're cool. I don't know if I'll ever get them graded. I guess if I find someone, like if I find whoever wrote Spider-Ham or whoever worked on Spider-Ham, if I meet them at a convention, I could always get them to sign in and try to get a gold label. It's always on the back of my mind, like, maybe I shouldn't get this graded because maybe I can meet somebody at a convention. I mean, I got 1 gold label. I could easily try to do it again. All right. This one, I'm going to say, I think I got like a Rocket Raccoon at a 6.5. First appearance Rocket. 6.5. I'm going to say this one's probably like that. 6.5. A 6.0. Pretty close. This is first appearance of Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham. So it's a nice piece to keep in the collection. Pretty cool. Alright. Also has Hulk Bunny and Captain Americat. All the animal puns. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, this is a Savage She-Hulk. I think this one is one where I bought the graded copy of first appearance of Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker. And I just saw this comic and it was like, I don't know if it was from the same seller, but I was like, oh, there's a She-Hulk, Savage She-Hulk number 1. So this is going to be the first appearance of She-Hulk. So it's pretty iconic. It's a pretty awesome looking book. I love the cover. Kind of looks similar to the actual first appearance of Hulk. Alright, this one I'm going to say is going to grade a little bit higher. I've been saying 8.0 all day, so let's say 8.0. A 9. Origin and first appearance of She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. Origin of the Hulk Retold. So this is a pretty good book. Let me see how many that I got left. Oh, just one more. Then there was one. And not a bad set of books. The guy at the comic book store, when he handed me my books back, he's like, dude, you got an awesome collection of books in there. What's the last one? Let me see. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Alright, the next one is going to be Killing Joke. Alright, this book has a story to it. And I can't remember if I told this story before. So I was at that comic book store where I pulled, well, now the Teen Titans number 44 and the first appearance Hellboy and a lot of other good stuff. I pulled a lot of interesting things from their long boxes. And I came across a copy of Killing Joke. Now, Killing Joke is a kind of a weird book. Let me see if I can kind of do this because I actually, oh crud, I'm knocking over stuff. Okay, Killing Joke is a weird, how it's printed is a little unusual. So the first run of Killing Joke had the inker had a unusual color palette. He used, I'm going to try to make sure I don't see it because I put it back in the box. Okay, so the inker did Killing Joke with a pretty weird color palette. And I had a book where, so this is the normal color palette for Killing Joke. This is the one where they re-inked it after the initial one. The first print of Killing Joke had a different color palette altogether. This is an absolute edition of Killing Joke, so it's going to have both. So if you buy this book, you can read it. The remaster is actually first, and the original inking is after this. And I wanted to read it. Let me see if I can find. So look at this panel where it's Batman, Joker interacting. He pulls a weapon that has a flag on in it, and then let me see if I can find the exact same. You'll notice a difference. Okay, here it is. Here's the same one. Notice there's a lot of I don't think it's ugly, but people didn't necessarily like the original color palette for this version of Killing Joke. So they redid it, and then every comic book past now when they print Killing Joke, it's always in the new color scheme. They don't use, if you have the Absolute in certain versions of the Killing Joke, and like Absolutes and other versions of this book, it will be a different color palette they use. So anyway, when I was in there, I'm like, oh, they have a Killing Joke. And it's one of the first, it's a Killing Joke, and I think it's from the period where Killing Joke first came out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll be able to read it with the colors all weird. And I'm like, well, I've read it normally, and it doesn't change the story at all. It just changes your visual interpretation of the story. But I'm like, I want to read it that way. I want to read it the way it first was. So I picked the book out, and I bought it. I think like everything else from that box, I paid like $1 for it. And I had no intentions of anything, just reading this first Killing Joke. So one night I'm sitting in my bed and I'm getting ready to read Killing Joke. And I'm like, I'm going to read this Killing Joke. And I start reading it and I get a little bit into it. And then I'm like, okay. I thought to myself, Killing Joke it's a self-contained story. It's not a very long Batman story. It's self-contained. Usually, I think the story is like maybe 40 pages. Usually, when they put it out in Absolutes or other editions, they actually add a lot of bonus material so to spread the book so you're not just paying for 40 pages. But I was sitting there and I was like, okay, what? I'm like, Killing Joke didn't come out in a specific Batman thing, so I was like, what? How did Killing Joke first come out? If you're collecting the first Killing Joke, how does a Killing Joke really look? And so I looked it up. And I looked at it and it said, okay, there's many. I looked online. I saw all these different copies of Killing Joke. Now, Killing Joke, let me pull it out again without looking at it. All right, Killing Joke. The lettering on the bottom that says Batman the Killing Joke will actually be different colors. You're going to get blues, yellows, greens, light greens, dark greens. I think there's a pink one. I think there might be a red one. Now, every one of them that coloring denotes which one is the first print. Now, a first print Killing Joke is a light green. This one is also a light green. So when I was looking at it, I had my cell phone with me when I was reading it. I was like scrolling down. I'm like, I look at the Killing Joke I'm holding and I'm like, I cannot finish reading this because it needs to be graded. And so I got a book worth grading without even trying. So I'm like, I put the book down and I'm like, all right, it's going to go get sent off to be graded. And that's how I got my Killing Joke first print. Now, I believe this is the first print. There's a green and a dark green, and I think the difference between the two is the light green is first print, dark green is, I think, third or fourth. Now, to my knowledge, this is a light green, so it's a first print. I also pulled it out of the same collection that I got the Teen Titans number 44 from, and even it wasn't bagged and boarded. Let me look at it, see if it's got any dings. It doesn't have a lot of damage to it. I'm going to say a 9, and then we'll take a closer look at it. A 9.8. It actually scored the exact same as that Teen Titans number 1. Alright, let me see. Joker, Cripples, Barbara Gordon, embossed colors. Embossed colors. I am so sorry about mispronouncing that. I don't think it says anything about it being a first print, but I do believe it is a first print. Here, I'll take it out of the baggie it's in. Alright, if anyone really knows, just take a look at that. If you think it's a first print or you know it's a first print, actually, I think I might have looked at it inside the book before I submitted it. I believe it to be a first print. With that said, if it is a first print of Killing Joke, and it's a 9.8, there's not going to be a better grade. I just, So, the cool thing about getting stuff graded is when you get a 9.8, you're increasing the population of near perfect books. So, yeah, not too. So, these two desirable books just got a couple 9.8s added to their total population. Not a bad couple books. I am going to have to do a little research on their pricing because the difference in pricing depends on where I store them at. So anyway, that is pretty much the rundown of everything. Pretty good, all in all. Some good books. If I had to hazard a guess on which one probably didn't need to be graded, but I got graded anyway, it's going to be the first appearance Spider-Ham, but after a certain point, if a character becomes popular enough, it doesn't really matter. You'll probably see it in the future. There is a book I'm contemplating getting graded, and I have it in not great condition, but I got it, and it looks good. It's valuable despite its condition, and frankly, I don't do this because I don't do this for the money. Because out of every book I own, every graded comic book I own, I've sold absolutely none of them. So I've sold absolutely 0 books in my collection. I have every graded copy of a comic I've ever gotten. I don't sell or trade them. Maybe if I got duplicates, and I don't think I even have a graded book where I have duplicates of it. I could probably do that. But anyway, not bad. You know, in the future, maybe one day I'll be like the guy from Lunch Money Comics where he actually keeps a wall of books. That would actually be pretty cool. I could just show off awesome books all the time instead of just trade paperbacks and trade paperbacks, collected editions, and various action figures. But other than that, that was pretty fun. Some good books were had. Some good hunting was done. I'm hoping to do even more hunting. Unfortunately, I think that game store I was at I I did a really good job clearing that out. But that was, yeah. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a good one. And I am going to go see where all these comic books are going to end up. Have a good one.